Hello and welcome back. I'm sure you all remember those days of viruses, lockdowns, furlough and all that stuff. Well, back then was when I got back into model railways, when one day my son said, "Do you know what, I'm going to set up my train set," which I helped him with and thoroughly enjoyed it. My newest train at the time was from the very early 70s. All the track was the chunky old Hornby stuff. So it took a good while to get it going. He had a couple of vaguely newer Bachmann Virgin models, a 125 I think was one of them. And after a lot of faffing about, we got it up and running, and that gave me the bug. So when you're on furlough, what else do? You can't go to train fairs. In fact, I didn't even know such a thing existed at the time. So you get on the internet and you have a look and see what's available. There was only Hattons I'd heard of, really. And I remember trawling through Amazon, firstly being shocked by the price of locos and everything, but adding things to the wish list anyway. And on there I found, or came across, 3 Mahano sets. There was a horrible old Western one with a horrible 040 steam engine, I think, which looked terrible. There was an American base set which looked a lot better, and a high-speed train set. So they're all stuck on the wish list. And then I remember the next day going back on Amazon for something else, and noticed on my wish list the Mahano sets, which were around 150 at the time, and suddenly dropped to about 80. I thought, that's a bit weird, that's a big drop. So I decided to keep an eye on them, and the following day they'd gone down to somewhere around 60 quid. And we were talking about, should we get one? And then refreshing the page, the price kept dropping and dropping and dropping, and we finally jumped in at £35. £35 for a train set, which included track and a controller. So we should bring in the one we actually went for in the end. I don't think the price ever got that low again. So what did we get? So this is the Mahano Thalys 2 set, which consists of a driving end, 2 coaches, and the rear end. The set also included a generous oval of track, which turned out to be steel, but it was all right, and a half decent controller, which worked quite well, except that it was vastly underpowered. I think it was 0.6 of an amp, so as soon as you put anything vaguely trying on it, it used to pop. So that was no good, really. Yeah, so this was the set we got, which is the Mahano Thalys 2. Bearing in mind this was either 35 or 38 quid. So I thought it's time, because I haven't run it for ages, I thought it's time to have another look at it, especially after recently getting the Ice 3. Just to basically have a look, see how well or poorly detailed it is. So what I'll do is we'll have a look at the driving end first, and then we'll have a look at a couple of the coaches. So there's the driving coach. I mean, luckily, I guess for this sort of model, there's not a lot of extra detailing they could put on it, but anyway, you can see that all the paint and that is really nicely done. It's reasonably heavy, this. It's got a fully die-cast chassis. It's all-wheel pickup and all-wheel drive. And as I say, the painting's nicely done. The bogies have got reasonable depth to them, although they're all plastic. It has no traction tyres, which is a good thing. It looks like it should have working lights, but it doesn't. And it's basically, really, is a hollow shell. But the grills across the top look reasonably convincing. Printing's all nice. No underframe detail at all. All metal wheels, so no traction tyres. Plastic, quite flimsy pantographs, but they do the job. It's just a really nice shape. There's lots of moulded detail on the side, which is okay. around the back it's got a coupling system which is nice and easy to put together. That just pushes in one of the coaches. There's a bit of detailing around the pantographs with the odd isolator. Yeah, I don't think that's too bad. It's got a decent weight to it. We'll stick it on the scales in a minute, but you can see, look, it's all empty really inside. So I'll just grab one of the coaches. So this is the second class coach. You see there's nothing inside at all, completely empty. But the detailing on the side's not too bad. It's got the wheelchair access sign. I think the camera's struggling a bit with the changing light in it. The sun keeps going in and out, and then it's raining and God knows what. Again, the old plastic bogies, no underframe detailing, metal wheels. But again, the printing and everything's quite good. This is the end that connects to the loco, so you can see it's got like a claw bit, and you just push them together. Another isolator up here. This part, which I presume maybe is air conditioning. But again, the printing and the painting is all pretty good. So nice and empty, and it uses the shared bogie system with what obviously is the next coach, which sort of blocks up the gap between them. It hasn't got that between the loco and the coach though, unfortunately. But it sort of it does a job, as you'll see when I've got it all together and running properly. It's got well, considering I've run this for about 4 years, it's got a pretty dirty wheels. But yeah, that's not too bad, is it? All the ridges on the roof. Another isolator that end. Yeah, I think that's all right. And the next coach, which I'll grab, I think is pretty much the same. Hang on. No, this is the first class coach. Again, no seating. But otherwise, I think the design is pretty much exactly the same. Except, of course, this doesn't have a bogie there, and it's got this sort of clip bit which pushes into the other coach. Again, the isolators on the top, this hump. Again, these wheels are filthy. How do they get filthy sitting in a box? Must have been the state of my original chunky Hornby track or something, but it certainly picked up plenty of dirt. Yeah, this is sort of loose, so it will go around corners okay. There's no springing on that at all. But again, I think that looks not too bad. I mean, it looks a lot better with the 3-foot rule, I've got to say. So one thing this did have though, it ran like a pig when I first got it. Jumped about on the track. I don't know if I can still see it, but one of these wheels, it's not there. Obviously these are all driven, so I can't turn them, but one of these wheels had what you would call like a moulding mark if it was plastic, but on the wheel, on the metal tyre. And I had to actually file that down once I realised what was causing this jumping about and poor running. And it's been fine ever since. Yeah, I think that don't look too bad. So what I'm going to do, stick it on the balance, we'll see how much it weighs, and then we'll just give it a blast around and see how it looks. So that's the motored end, 262 grams. You see how light the coaches are. 75 grams for the one with one bogey. And an extra 15 grams for the extra bogey. So there's no real weight to them, but they run okay, as we're about to find out. It really is so easy to put together and take apart, but I guess that's because there's no wiring to consider or electrical conductivity, but it just pushes together and pulls apart absolutely perfectly. So let's just give it a quick slow run. Bit of hum going on. Won't really crawl, but then it's a high speed thing, isn't it? So it shouldn't really. Not as smooth as it starts. And most of that noise, well, if not all of it, is just the light coaches and the metal wheels on the track. Apart from when it first starts, the motor's almost silent. It's a good little motor in this. But I think from this sort of distance, it does look the part. I mean, it doesn't look as good as the Pico Ice 3 we looked at recently, but no, it does look the part, I think. So we better send it round and just get a few shots of it. Definitely would improve it with some lights though, wouldn't it? Just front lights. Keeps a steady speed, no problem, I think. From this sort of distance, it really does look the part. So that's the Mahano Thalys 2. Runs really well, no stuttering over points, no derailing. It'll even do first radius just. Yeah, no slowing down. Nice little runner. I've had a few Mahano locos in my time now, and I've never had a bad runner yet. They've all run well, it's just the detailing may be lacking a bit. So did you ever manage to take advantage of the Amazon weird pricing system that was going on these Mahano things back in lockdown? I seem to remember Sam's Trains may have reviewed one or two of those sets, but not this one. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, I think this is quite nice. I'm sure this, I think Joef or someone has made something the same as this, which looks exactly the same. I don't have it, but yeah, I'm sure they've nicked the moulds or something since Mahano went bust. But yeah, we're talking 35 quid here with a load of track and the controller and these special clips that held the track together, which I thought was quite a good idea. I never used them, but yeah, and instructions and everything. So yeah, not too bad. Improvements, lights would have made a massive difference. Just front and rear lights would have been nice. Don't have to have the passenger lights, but that would have added something. And maybe a slight improvement to close the gap between the two. And this one, although this is well-meaning, you know, close-up examination, it doesn't quite work, but it's better than just having a gap. As you can see, where that's on a bend there. But that's certainly worth the 35, 38 quid or whatever it cost. So that's just a quick one looking at this whole thing that I've dug out of my pile, the Mahano TGV. Let us know what you think. As I say, 3 foot rule. Can't see nothing wrong with it, can you really, from there? Yeah, not bad. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Let's get it going.